An invasion of microscopic jellyfish at Auckland beaches have left swimmers with irritating and sometimes painful rashes. The Medical Officer of Health for the Auckland region, Dr. Simon Baker, is urging swimmers, particularly those who frequent beaches along the Hauraki Gulf, to beware the tiny creatures.
Most people think of jellyfish as being things that float around in the sea, but these are the juvenile forms of obviously larger jellyfish, and they're so tiny that they're like basically a speck of pepper, and so you can't see them, but they can get through the little tiny holes in your bathing costume, and then once they get in there, they get trapped, and when you get out of the water, by the physical and chemical action, they basically discharge their stinging cells, and so wherever they're trapped, which is usually inside your bathing costume, they will sting, and hence the rash.
So what, if anything, can swimmers do to avoid being stung?
The only surefire way of avoiding getting stung is to not go into the sea and swim at affected beaches and maybe use a freshwater pool instead. But I wouldn't want people to stay out of the sea completely. But there are some other sensible things that you can do. So as soon as they come out of the water, have a shower, salt water preferably, although there aren't many saltwater showers on beaches. Freshwater is probably the best that you can do. Get your togs off as quickly as possible. Change into other loose-fitting clothing if you're going to be around on the beach or even if you're going home, so that you don't leave the togs next to your skin where the stinging cells might continue to sting you.
And then once you get home, you need to actually properly wash out your bathing suit, not just rinse it.
Yes, not just rinsing it. It seems that you need to actually put it through the full cycle on the washing machine to actually wash out all the stinging cells, which will just sit there even though the jellyfish are dead and could sting you again if you put your costume back on again.
Which beaches are particularly at risk?
Well, we've had reports from Long Bay, Milford and Takapuna, and we've also had reports out at Beachlands and Maraetai, so it's likely that it's an all of Hauraki Gulf problem. Although, interestingly, we've not had any reports from the Auckland beaches, so it's obviously quite patchy. And in doing our bit of detective work, I suspect that it's probably not as bad as it was last year when we had a very hot summer, and in 2008 when it was also very hot. So the fact that it's a bit cooler this year is probably good, although clearly there are jellyfish in the waters at some beaches.
And if people are stung, what sort of symptoms are they likely to see? Are these stings poisonous?
Well, they are in a sense a poison. They are toxin from little cells in jellyfish, but they're very unlikely to cause you to be seriously ill. They're more likely to cause you to have a nasty, red, itchy, painful rash that might last anything from hours to days or even a week or two if you're particularly susceptible. And probably the susceptibles are probably more likely to be sort of children because they've got obviously more tender skin, and anyone who tends to get rashes from other things are probably more likely to be susceptible to getting to rashes from the jellyfish.
And are these jellyfish likely to persist all summer?
It's very difficult to say. They're very hard to predict. They're likely to be around while the weather is hot, and if the weather gets hotter, it could well be more of a problem, but it's very difficult to predict how long it's going to last.
Dr. Simon Baker there.